Welcome to the Space Academy Part 2. Now I explain you how to start a new game. We open the book, we're choosing a flight. That's the first thing we do, because we have a crew. The crew is here. And the spaceship. We can already fold this page out. I make the German tutorial already, also the episode of the tutorial, so I already entered the values, but I go through everything in detail as well. And I already choose some crew members. We have 3 crew members we can choose. At the startup, later on we can have a 4th crew member. But we go through it point by point. And we have a flight option. For example, we can take the early settlers. They get some extra items right at the start. The nerds have some great tech level. The military crew get some extra weapons. And so you can choose what kind of flight you take to leaving Earth. Let's say we start with the early settlers. And then we have to define our storylines. Storylines is the following thing. We have here encrypted game master. This is this here. And we have at the moment 4 different storylines. And each storyline tells the story later on in the game. Everything we need to know, there are points defined in this table sheets. So we write down the start coordinates of each story. And to do that, we choose randomly just one of these pointers in the first line, in the second line, one in the third line, and one for the 4th line. For example, the first storyline, we take 1 CD and write here 1 CD. The second and the third and the 4th, we do the same. For example, for the third, we do 1 FF, so I entered here 1 FF. At the beginning, nothing more happens. Later on, this opening the story and we see what's happening. And you can say, okay, at the first game I choose this, and this line. So if you start a new game, you can choose different combinations of stories. And even if you marked all 4 of them and have played 4 times and you start another time, you can choose different combinations. For example, you take the 1 CD from the first line and then you take 1 RX, the most on the bottom one from the second line, and so on, and you have some different mix of story happening in the game. And this is just the demo version. In the final version you have much more variations, and you also have longer stories. But the story inside this book is already, also the test prototype is already so that you can play, I don't know, between 5 and 10 hours, depending on how difficult and how often you retry or so. Okay. Then, after we set up the storylines like explained here, you can put this, fold it out open and just lay it like that. And then you go to the rules section here. Rules. And here's everything explained, how the game works. And first, beginning with an overview, you can read, explaining, like in my first video, a bit what happened in which phase and how you open the book and what's going on. I guess I already told about the most things, and the rest I explained during we start and play. The most important thing now is point 3, start a new game. Okay, choose a game mode. We can play in easy mode, just a simulation. That means you can restart anytime. If you die or something happen, you just reload. And saving and reloading is you just make some handy photo or some copy of the values here defined in your ship sheet and your characters and your CGM9 tracker, because you need the position where you stay in the story actor, and then you just restart. The medium mode adventurer is you gain 50% of the high score, because if you play in difficult modes you get some high score and can say, okay, I solved the game, that was so and so good. And you can only save in clone stations. In the maps, here for example, this is the explanation for the maps, and we have here a C in green means clone station, save your game. So if you go to That's a clone station here in green. Here, for example, a clone station. If you go there, then you can copy your data, make some clones of you, and you can restart the game later on in this position. Okay. And we have the real life mode. So you have the clone stations may heal you or resurrect dead crew members, but there's nothing like load and save function. So if you die, you're dead. Okay. Then explanation of set up your crew. You choose 3 crew members, and you have 2 options. You can define the attributes yourself, and the setup and everything completely unique. Or you take the predefined heroes, this are on the left side of the double page here, and you just copy the values, so you all have everything set up, and they are already ready for combat. I say, okay. And I, at the moment, just copy these heroes, and then you get some little extra money to buy stuff. I come to it back later. Okay, let's go through the values. In the German explanation, I write it down. Now I just go through it and write it and tell you what is. First, the name is for sure just the name you like to give the crew member. And you have some agility value. This is the speed, how fast you can react. And most times the slowest crew member is the most important, because the fastest cannot act faster if you have to wait for the slowest, except they say, okay, no, we leave the slowest crew member just wait, and only the first fastest take action. Then his agility doesn't count, for example. Okay, the strength value decides how much items you can carry with you. For example, the right and the left hand you can carry always, and each extra slot here, up to 4, require 2 strength points. So if you have 4, you can unlock slot number 1 and slot number 2. And for example, Lex, she's a tank. She has a very high strength of 6, so she can unlock 3 extra slots. So she has 1, 2, and 3, and only the number 4 is blocked. Okay, charisma is used for some events most times, if you want to influence somebody or trade something special. Technology level, this is if you want to open a security door or something like that, then you need technology. Or if you want to unjam a weapon or something like that, then you need a technology level. Ranged and melee attacks, this is the skill for attacking. The items, the skills. Sometimes you have no skills, you can start with no skills, or you choose skills and there are positive and negative skill. For example, he's a sniper, that means he can fire very accurate with ranged weapons, and some big weak point, he is weak against fire. So if some fire damage appears, then he suffers more damage. You have a shield energy. At the moment he has no shield generator, it's some extra item in his backpack, so he have no shields. He have health points. Oh, I'm doing it wrong. He have strength of 4, and the health points is just a double value, so 8 points. So you just cross that out. And the O2 level is always 6. This is the oxygen he takes with him in some tank. So if you are in some environment without air to breathe, you need this to doing some action. And you always spend one single oxygen, and you can pay with only 1 crew member. So we have a total of 6 plus 6, 18 points of oxygen. So we can do 18 actions before we're running out. If we have no extra tank or something, or don't find some oxygen station to refuel it. Just getting in some room, for example, with air doesn't resupply the tanks, because we need really high pressure. It's like you're diving, you cannot just refill the bottles if you're on the surface. You need some machine to do that and some time. So it's not that simple to refuel it. Okay, and we copy the items defined here, and just for example, the items definition, weapons definition in this case, is quite simple. The name is a bow, for example. This is a 4, that means you need at least strength value of 4 to use it. Sometimes you don't have a number. For example, here blaster have no number. Ranged RA means it's a ranged weapon. You can write it down, but if you can remember probably that a bow is not a melee weapon, then you can just spare it and don't write it there. But let's say we write it. Then it hits with a 4+ in a normal combat without any other bonus or special effects. You roll a 6-sided dice, for example, and if you roll 4 or more, 4+, then you take a hit, and 3d is the damage. It makes automatic 3 damage, except, for example, a 6 is a critical hit, makes some extra damage. We come later on to the combat, I just explain how it works. And a 8 means a ammunition of 8, so you can shoot 8 times and then it's empty. If you shoot late in the game, you just make some lines here. That's the way I do it. For example, now he did 3 shots, and after the 8th one, he's empty. The weapon is empty. Okay, and the same. She, for example, she's a tank. She have a steel shield armor, with a Kevlar jacket armor that brings a half armor point together 1 point. So every time she takes a damage, she can lower it by 1 point. And yeah, so we copy it, and then there's some little extra. Where we was here. Yeah, right. This is the overview. Start set up the crew, attributes, skills, oxygen. Yeah, the skills I want to show you shortly. The skills are here. Hero skills. So we can take a look one time, for example, about his skill. Sniper. You are awesome in ranged attacks from great distances. Ranged -1, so we hit 1 point easier. So not at 4+, we already hit with 3+, but all melee attacks gets more difficult by +2. So he's very hard. If you have some melee weapon, he very hit not often, so better don't give him some melee weapon, for example. And the weakness against fire I already explained. You can take a look and check out every skill they have. Or for example, if you want to have some very fast and easy game at the beginning, you not must give them some skills, so you can start without any skills. Maybe a little bit simpler, but anyway, it's not so complicated. Okay, then what do we have more? Yeah, by equipment. If we have no equipment, also if we do not copy the equipment from the standard sheets, because they already have some value weapons, then we can buy weapons for 5 credits per hero. In our case, we already have the equipment, and we get 30 credits in total to equip more weapons for the heroes or items, or to equip our ship. And in our case, I decided, because last time I have no medical station on my ship and no teleporter to escape, and that was quite tough and I was close dying. So I decided to buy a teleporter, make a cross here, and a med bay. And as explained here, we get some standard equipment, a laser and light shields. This is for free. So we have at least some minimum defense ability and attack ability. And yeah, then we equipped, and we have, we spent 10 credits and, oh no, not the laser, here the teleporter and the med bay, each 10 credits, so 20 credits. 10 credits we have had left, so we buy some more weapons and items, which was not defined in our standard sheet here. And about the weapons and items, we have 6 different grades. Grade 1, each weapon costs 2. Second grade 5, third grade price is 12, and so on. The 6th grade are very powerful weapons, but they cost 1 weapon 150 credits. Okay, the same is with the items, and the price is the same. The prices are the same for the grade. For example, 6th grade weapon costs 150, and 6th grade item costs 150 as well. So we have 10 credits left. So I've decided to take a weapon 2nd grade and an item 2nd grade, both for the price of 5 credits, 10 together. So we're fine. And I decided to give her some energy shield, that's an item here, and a chainsaw, because she's the only one attacking melee and she's the tank, so it's good if she goes forward. So I give her the chainsaw. She has 3 damage with the chainsaw, is armor piercing, so it means it halves the armor of some enemy, that's quite good. And ammo 6, after 6 attacks the fuel gets empty, so she needs some ammo. And the shields, energy shields, it's 2-1. This means she has 2 shield points, so if she takes damage it goes first to the shields, and 1 point she regenerates each turn. And the B means B class shield, we have A and B. For example, I can also buy her just some flash shields, that's A3-1, so 3 shield points, 1 point more than this shield, but it's only against ranged weapons. A shields only usable against fire weapons. All melee attacks going just through it. So I want to stay her in the front with some melee weapons, so I give her a B class shield. And so I bought the weapon and the item with another 10 credits, so I'm out of credits. If I have credits left, I can write down it here, but I did not. And I give the heroes names and I write the level. For example, we start all at the beginning with level 1. That's the only thing we forget in design. I corrected in the prototype here. Here have to be a field for the level. Just write level 1 here and it's fine. And the same for the experience points. We have here the credits, what we have in the ship, and we have the experience you can collect for the entire group and just then spend it for each crew member later on. And up-leveling is quite easy. You just have to pay the multiple price of the power of the same number for the next level. Also for level 2 you need to spend 2 times 2, 4 experience points. To upgrade from level 4 to level 5 you need 5 times 5, 25 experience points. Then you lower this here and you upgrade your level of the crew member you've chosen. That's up leveling. Okay, I have some minutes left. Let's do it quick. Go back to the rules. You bought your equipment, you name your heroes, everything's fine. You have the line prepared to start with in the first turn, and then you can start. Now I explain just the general rules. That's some rules for the entire game, just a few. And then the game phases, how the main phases, what's happening. Okay, down split. We stay together. You don't say, okay, this hero go in this room and attack and the other hero go to the minefield and then attack something else or so. No, they stay together all the time. Some maybe get knocked out, losing all hers, and the other just moving him with them. The only exception is sometime you are on your spaceship and you want to build some new system, for example. Then you can say no, you leave him at your spaceship to do something, and only the rest of the crew go on ground combat or on location dungeon exploration mode. Okay, specify your leader. You have to say who's the leader, because in some events it happens that the first one going inside a room or so trigger something and something happen. So you have to always say, okay, he's my leader, he go first or she go first. If you losing, that's already explained. If you get knocked out, you're not dead. You can survive if your health points don't lower too much. If the attack was too strong, he maybe kill you entirely. If not, you can get resurrected. You stay alive in game if at least one crew member survives. If the last one get knocked out, it's game over. If you get 2 or less health points, you get some dice penalty to melee attacks by +1. That means you hit harder. And if you're rolling a 1, it's a miss always in a dice probe, dice test. And in case of a ranged attack, it's a jam. So if you used a ranged weapon and attack, the weapon jams after the shot. And in the next turn you have to choose another weapon, or you have to try with your tech level to unjam the weapon. Dice tests, always are against some value. For example, against a dice test against 4+ means you roll a 6-sided dice, and if you roll 4 or plus, then you solved it. And in close combat, for example, but I come later to that again, 1 is a miss as well, and a 6 is a critical hit, dealing 1 more damage point. And you get high score. That's, you can calculate, if you're not playing in easy mode, you can calculate how much high score you gathered if you solve the game, or if you end the game, and you can note how far you go and how good you was. And achievements, did I tell them? I guess only in the German version already. Here, nearby the weapons, we have the achievements. So if you make some attempt and, for example, solve the game without using any kind of melee weapons, also only with ranged weapons, then you can make some cross here, and then each time you start a new game, get 1 level 2 ranged weapon for free. Okay. Oh, and one important thing we forget, we chosen the, right at the start, we chosen our flight, and we say we have early settlers, you get 1 free level 2 item or weapon for every crew member during the setup phase. Oh, I forget that. Okay, so I do it quick. 1 level 2. Okay. I get 3 items of level 2. So what's important? Let's say we need some chainsaw ammo. Chainsaw. No ammo at the beginning, but we can do another chainsaw. The ammo is cheaper and you buy that later on. At the beginning you just choose the items. But we say, okay, we just take another chainsaw, so if one is broken or something happened with them, we can use it. I don't write the values down. I can write the values down, but I already have a chainsaw here, so I not write it again there. It's enough if I know what items she have. What else did we take? Some medkit maybe? Yeah, a medkit will be a good combination. So we say, okay, I'm a medkit. And what else? We generate 5 health points. Okay, that's fine. Maybe another shield. Yeah, let's try it with a energy shield as well. Right, chunks? Or chunks. Get some energy shield. B2 -1, and here we note we have 2 energy shield points now. Okay, that was the flight. I forgot it in the German tutorial. Oh, sorry folks. I tell them if I continue with the game, with the first phase. Okay, now the crew is ready, and the game phases will start now. The first is we handle the line. Each line gets handled. Then we have the ship construction phase, meaning we can repair or build new systems, or we can even say we spend crew members for the entire turn to build some new ship system, and if they have some high technology level, they do it maybe cheaper, as if we just buy in some shop. Then we have our own action. Own action can be we decide to visit a already discovered star map location again. So we just fly there, but we already know the place. We have the hyperspace coordinates and just fly there. Or if we don't have such a location, for example, maybe in the first turn, we do it I guess soon, we can start up a new space flight, maybe trigger some space combat, and then if we find some location, then we go there in dungeon exploration modes, means we going on the map and going from map to map and fighting against the enemies until we leaving the map again. I explain it later in detail. At the beginning it's just about setting up the game. Your action, quick visit a shop. Yeah, we can go to a shop, an ammo dealer or a quest master again after all of that. For example, if we want to exchange weapons or so. And the quest timer, if we have quests, we only have a defined time to solve it. That's get triggered there as well. And we have a recovery phase. That's not phase 6. It's a phase that happens every time we come back from a location exploration, dungeon exploration mode. So if we come back to our ship, we go in the medicine station and our crew gets healed. Normally not so much, in only just 3 health points. If somebody was knocked out, he starts with 3 health points again. And because we have a med bay, heal crew plus 5 health points. That means we can heal them with 8 health points every turn. So if, for example, our tank get 9 damage and was soon before dying, and she come back in this state to our ship, we can regenerate 8 points, so she have only 1 damage point left, so she have 11 first points at that moment. And that's the recovery phase. And in the own action phase, where we make the space light, for example, we also can decide to trigger a storyline once again, because sometimes we want to push a story forward. If we, for example, find a trader, offers us some good trade, but say he have to fly away and come back maybe soon, and then he escape, and the line stops because we have many stop points here, and in the next turn it get triggered again. We can say no, we want to trigger it already in this turn once again, and then maybe something of the story element gets fastened up and we can trade with him. It can be some advantage, but can be also some negative effect if we trigger, for example, the main storyline and the Kraken attacks quite soon and we are not already prepared to fight against him. So you have to take care what you trigger or not, or if you more like to go to some dungeon location to get some loot, upgrade your skills or your attributes by up-leveling the crew or finding new items or more cash to buy new equipment. Okay, and yeah, in the next video I activate the story, and then we see the one of the main parts of the game, how the story acts and how you process it. And for now I do what I'm used to do. If I stop playing, I just fold this together again, fold this inside. Oops. And ready to go. See you next time. And don't forget to like and follow.